every time we say we do a retreat,
it gets shorter.
Not only does it get shorter, we actually just do an activity.
I kind of like that. That's our go-to answer.
Yeah, because our first retreat was the Jamila Woods concert almost a year ago.
Yeah, that was a retreat.
That was our first one.
That felt like, like practice. Like, we were going outside to invest in the things we were talking about.
Yeah. And we've been doing that. You know what I actually wanted you to say? Your New Year's resolution for us.
Oh.
I've been thinking about that.
About mine specifically? Or no, just like that we did?
Yours for us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. To go outside more. Yes. It is my goal and our dream for us is that we spend less time inside and more time at events and just outside. We don't go outside enough. We're young.
We're so young.
And we don't go outside. I'm already tired and it's not even...
We were so overstimulated last night when we went outside.
Yeah.
And that was telling.
Yeah. We were the introverts who were there. But we went and we stayed and we got home. I got home after midnight yesterday. And I was like, wow.
We've done that a few times. We did it for your birthday.
Yeah, that was...
I was out after midnight. I was losing my mind.
Yes. And I got home after you that day.
Yeah.
I was like, am I still outside? It's my bedtime.
I know. And it's not even summer.
No, I know. It's cold. Yeah. So, yeah, my dream for us is that the messy part takes more field trips.
Mm-hmm.
We have some pretty fun field trips. We've taken some fun movies, a launch event, a movie screening, a few things.
Yeah, the concert.
Yes.
We've been to two concerts. We went to the Thames.
Oh, yeah, Thames. Why did I forget about that? Yes, two concerts. Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing well.
We're going outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we went to the ICA white party.
We did. And we got dressed up.
Yes.
Okay, so the dream is that we continue to go outside. Maybe that we
increase the amount of time we go outside and how much time we take off.
And that it's not about work. That is actually just like for activities.
Yeah. And that's how we build community and meet people.
Exactly.
So I love that you created a New Year's resolution for us. I've never had a friendship that did that. I actually don't do that in any of my relationships. So that felt new to me and felt very you. I know it's something you do.
It is something I do, yeah.
Do you do it with your friends?
I do it in some of my relationships, yeah.
When did that start?
In college.
Why?
Because I feel like my friends and I always had the same conversations and I was like, we're not doing anything about anything we're talking about. We're just kind of talking. And I was like, even if we don't...
not friendship?
It is friendship, but friendship is also accountability. So not that we always do what we say we'll do, but I think it's like a new kind of energy to add to it, to be like, our new resolution is to X. So it's like a group accountability to kind of try. And it's always like things that we're already working towards. They're not necessarily new things, but...
It's just naming them again.
It's naming them and it being like a little more than a desire, but like hopefully something you can take action on.
And something you're working towards.
Yeah.
It's a goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice because like it's something that like it also is a new way for us to like hang out. We're hanging out because we're trying to accomplish our new resolution, which is to go outside more, which we did yesterday. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah,
and we ended pictures.
We're trying to take more pictures. I know you didn't listen to the Bad Bunny album.
I did not.
I know, and I know you won't.
I will eventually.
Sure. I'm still fascinated by people that listen to his album and don't speak Spanish, so that's why I said that. So one of the things that he says that people have been holding on to is this idea that we need to take more pictures. We need to take more pictures with the people that we love and the people that we're with, because at some point that's all you have, your memories. So we're living into that, even if you don't listen to the album.
Not listen to it, no. Yeah, for that reason it's hard for me. I'm like, I don't know what this man is talking about. But the beats are great.
Yeah. It's just a vibe.
The picture thing I agree with. I think it's harder for me to be in pictures. But I like taking...
Can we talk about that?
No.
Like just... She said no. You've never said no to me before.
Good practice. We can talk about it in a moment. I think I agree with the picture thing, because whenever I'm trying to remember what happened, like if I don't have a picture, I don't have a good like recall of it. So it's helpful to just
mark there are time. Years that I don't know what happened because I didn't take a picture.
And I for a long time I was like, oh, like picture taking is like for other people, but I'm like, I don't post pictures anywhere. I just want them for myself. Yeah. So I got over that part a little while ago. But yeah, I'm not really in pictures. I'm not against being in them. I just like it's my preference not to be, because I feel like I want to like what I look like in pictures, and then I get all caught up about it. So I just want the experience to be captured more than I want me. I know I was there.
Yeah.
So that's
how old
something
are you
else.
now?
Huh?
How old are you now?
I don't know.
I
I
say
felt
that
like a
because
leading question, so I'm not answering it. I don't like it.
it is leading.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm glad you know me.
Nah. That's the way you leaned in and gave it away a little bit. Go ahead, come from me.
We're never gonna be this young. We're never gonna be this hot. It's all downhill from here. It's all downhill.
No, it has to be the other way
So
around.
that's my only motivation.
Fair.
When I'm 50, I want to be like, this is what I looked like when I was 27.
Right, so but I was able to say that and be proud of what I'm looking at.
But you won't know that.
I know.
Like in
Okay,
this
it's
moment
all
in
my head.
time,
It's
you're gonna be
hard.
like, oh my god. I mean, it
I
happens
know.
to all
no,
of us.
yeah.
All of us.
Even when I look back at pictures, I'm like, wow. I was like, I really thought I looked crazier than I did in that picture.
Yeah, and sometimes we do. Like
Yeah.
I look at pictures of me from college. I'm
like-
like, why did they let me go outside?
Right. See, those are
they
okay.
weren't my friends.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. So like a part of that I think is like all like internal work and self work and looking at mirrors more, whatever it is. And those are all things that I need to do more of. But like there's not enough time in the day to do all of these things. Like there's a lot to do and there's a lot to think about and a lot to solve and a lot to like think. Yeah. So it has gone down on my list of priorities. It needs to maybe go back up, but like everything can't be priority number one.
no.
I gotta make rent.
But you have 7 days in the week.
They're
And
all-
you have 5 minutes. You can do things in 5-minute increments.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the priority
So-
is always making rent. You know, so let's lean there for a second.
Let's like lean the other way.
Just you know,
Let's just
away from the
forget.
internal work and into the external pressure for a moment.
I know.
I felt really affirming to watch one of them days and watch two girls our age not be able to make. I mean, they eventually, you know,
They hustled their way
spoiler,
to
they
make
eventually
it.
did make their rent, but
Yeah.
it was, I was like, wow, yes, like this is such a clearly a normal experience. If it's in a movie, it has to have been like a general enough experience, and that was really nice to see in that movie. I love that movie.
There were just so many things about that movie that resonated so much, and part of it was that they were hustling to make rent, and one of them
Yeah.
did have a job. She was working full time, and she
Yeah.
still didn't have enough money to
Yeah.
make rent.
It's like, guys, like, what are we doing? What? She had degrees. She had a business degree.
She had a
a
business
business
degree.
degree. She went
Yeah.
to college for something.
And she
boring.
couldn't even get into a business program.
Yeah.
So
Because of
we're
her
talking
appearance.
about barriers
A lot of layers and identities.
and racism everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, the squaring
So-
up in front of the office probably didn't help that situation.
Yeah.
But you know, like, yeah, the movie is a lot, so we gotta take it in chunks. Cause, okay, we could just start with let's start at the beginning. If you haven't watched it, I don't know. This might give away some things. So
If you haven't watched it, you should stop and go watch it.
and then come back and then listen to us talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Their friendship is great and hilarious. I love it. One of them is like artist, working on her art, doesn't believe in her art, working through her identity crisis around that, in a wild relationship that she shouldn't be in with a man who don't need to be around.
With a man that doesn't pay rent and
Yeah.
that's living in their house.
Yep.
I have too many feelings about that I actually
Would you like to
won't.
share one of that?
No.
Okay, that's okay. I respect your no.
I'm just tormenting and
Yeah,
managing
no,
women.
facts. And he was a mess until he needed to leave, and then all of his stuff was just immediately, so you can clean up. Oh, it's possible. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember when Kiki came out of work? She went to that lady's store, apartment.
Right.
Everything.
Yo, she was making that one was making her money. Okay, she had a little bodega
She bought
in
the
her
orange
store.
juice. She took the orange juice to her house, and he put his mouth. in the
And he finished
orange
it, and he
juice,
drank it all.
And he finished it, and he didn't pay rent.
And then he took their rent money. Not even did he not pay
took
rent.
their
He
rent
took their
money.
rent money and then left.
He had been living there for 6 months, has not contributed, has made a mess of the apartment.
And then they couldn't find him. He was MIA after that. He had given her one of his trap phones. She couldn't
Because
even
of course
call
he
him.
had multiple phones. Because
So he's paying for the phone, so he had the money clearly from probably another girl that he got money from. Anyway, so he was gone. So now they're in this bind. I know that feeling. I mean, my life is not as dramatic as the day they had, but it's really like, wow, okay, like rent is due and rent is due. It's like, what are we going to do to make sure that we're not homeless? Like,
and
Oh my
the
God.
way that the landlord was so quick to just throw out that other guy's,
Yeah.
like all of his things.
yeah. And
it was 7 a.m.
And how
outside.
nice he made that white girl's apartment. He offered her cookies. He offered
to clean her dog's shit.
Yeah, and her house was like beautiful, and like clearly he had worked on it and renovated it, and there was no holes in the ceiling. He made it so nice for her. So nice for her. He offered her fresh baked cookies.
The movie was funny, but it was actually really frustrating.
Yeah.
And infuriating to watch.
Yeah.
Because of all the underlying issues that they're talking about, but not saying explicitly.
But that is how they're experienced. They're experienced at the same time. And you only see the top layer of the experience, even though all the like underlying pieces are there.
Say more.
Like you're seeing the it's funny, and it's like everyone's like struggling and hustling and running around. Like that's what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. But like the underlying parts of it are like the white woman who moved in was like super calm. She had a lot of energy and time to do things at her own pace. Like no one was rushing her. There was no urgency in her life. From the same man who was like threatening to kick them out. So even just that individual person who's the landlord, like his energy towards this white woman was like, please, like whatever you would like to do, like come join the community. And then he would turn around, that same person would give them the opposite energy. So it's like he knew what he was doing, you know, like people know what they're doing when they're being like racist or unfair or not offering grace where they can.
Yeah,
you know, like it's clear. They made it clear that like you can tell it's not by accident, it's by design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are there any other parts that stuck out to you?
I mean, I think at the end, I mean, I think it came together. I think there were two parts. Like one, like I thought it was really funny that who they thought to call when they were like in a bind to get this man out of their house was not the police, but the people that were alone too.
That was my favorite part.
I'm like, that's hilarious.
Down.
Like obviously they dramatized like how that happens, but that really probably is how it feels.
Of course.
They're like, oh, we know who's gonna get him. Like, it's not gonna be them. It's gonna be the people he owes money to. Like, that's so that I thought was hilarious. But I think it came down to like you need community to trust in you, because SZA, what was her character's name? Alyssa. She was like, my art can't sell. Like and like she was gonna stay in her way.
100%.
So, and like there's something about thinking about one, community, your friends supporting you and like being your advocates in spaces, but also considering like the way that it's not fair. She's one white girl. We can't judge them all, I guess. But like how quickly she's willing to pay for like vintage or like trendy, like quirky art. Mm-hmm. And for her, it was like, oh yeah, $200, like here.
I'll Venmo you right now.
I was like, wow, okay. So like thinking about like who do you need to like be your audience, and what does that mean for your art? I don't know. There's like a lot of we could unpack there that I don't know if we can get into right now, but
yeah. Well, what
interesting to think about.
A part that I really loved, and I don't know if you noticed this, is when they did decide to have the art show in the courtyard, all of the neighbors helping.
Yeah.
And them all having a role.
Yeah.
And
like
so
they're selling food.
Talking about an extension of your community that actually see the worth of your art more than you do.
Yeah.
And are willing to help you. That was such a profound moment.
Yeah.
That as I was watching it, didn't really stick. But as I think back, like, wow, they were actually really down to help. And they didn't think twice. And it happened so seamlessly. Because you have everything you need.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah, it's everywhere around you. People are there. You just gotta have to let people step in for you if you can't do it for yourself, and that's hard. So even when her first piece sold, like SZA was still kind of like she wasn't really the person who was like advocating for her art. She still was like, well, it's okay, like I had these other pieces.
She was giving it to her for free. Yeah. And it was Kiki or Drew
who was like, nah,
it was like $200, because also we're trying to make rent still. Like, are you dumb?
Like
like she was on mission. I appreciated that. And
Yeah.
honestly, as someone just at an acting level, as someone who has watched Kiki since I was little.
Yeah.
To
Aquila,
see
Aquila
her,
and the Bee.
Oh my God. Jump In is one of my favorite movies of all times. Yeah. And I actually just rewatched it a few months ago. I love her.
She's the same character. She's been the same.
I love her. I stand her. Yeah. She's so funny. Yeah. And it just warmed my heart to see her on the screen.
And I think she's like playing herself. I don't know her in real life, but like it just feels like she's playing.
It felt very authentic
to who she is. Yeah, which was really nice to see. And I've never seen SZA act, so yeah.
It was her first time.
Cool. Yeah, she did a great job. I loved it.
Yeah,
they're a hilarious pair.
Yeah,
hilarious pair. Not a pair I would have put together, but
No.
yeah,
No.
it was good. It was
I mean,
really
they
well
said
done.
that Kiki said that when they met, they were the same person, different font.
They had it was a good chemistry read, and they were like first she auditioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good combo. They've also like now the triplet, their like little trio is great. They're so funny as a group, which is nice.
It warms my heart because we're big Insecure fans. It's my only comfort show.
Yep.
I don't have
I
any
rewatched
other
it a million
comfort shows.
times.
Like, I know the storyline. You asked me.
I'm like, oh yeah, everything. This is happening. I'm like, here's what Molly was doing.
Season 2, episode 8.
I'm like, got you. Here's what Lawrence was up to. Yeah, I think it's always like it checks me whenever I watch it. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to see this, it was an extension of Insecure.
Yeah, same energy.
100%. Just
a little. I think it's like if you took a part of like Issa's life one of the days, it might have been this.
100%.
You know,
yeah.
If she was to like dig a little deeper into one of the days. I mean, she had Molly, which maybe she could have covered her rent, but.
Yeah, but would Molly have?
I don't know, but definitely Molly had the funds if she wanted to, which is a whole other. Yeah, good for her, good for Molly, good for.
She definitely thought that Issa had to figure it out on her own because Issa was.
But she never will. She would never let her be homeless.
Yeah,
she, so like it would have been like you fail a little bit if you need to, but there's always like a safety net for you on the other side. Yeah, great movie. Really nice, affirming experience as a young Black person who also has to pay rent. So, thanks.
I'm still floored at the movie, to be quite honest. And
really funny.
Going back to Drew, what was her name? Alyssa. Being so insecure about her art.
Yeah.
Just need a moment of silence.
All right. Lesson received. I heard you.
Lesson received. I'm talking to myself. I don't know if you thought I was talking to you.
I thought you were talking to me.
Okay, well, I'm talking to us and everyone else around us. Who's
how does that change? How does that change though? Like what needs to happen? That's where I'm like, that's where I get stuck. I'm like, yes, cool, we acknowledge the feeling, but like then what?
Well, even though she didn't believe in her work, she still created.
That's true, and she
didn't stop.
And she still sold her art,
and she still
not that she was a part of that experience.
So to me, what I get from that is you still have to create even if you don't believe in yourself. Yeah, it's just survival at some point.
Unfortunately, that's true. Yeah.
So
yeah. I think like thinking about that, like it's been really cool to see all the different ways that people in our real life are also kind of taking some of those lessons, and we're watching it kind of come to life in some ways.
100%. I mean, even last night, one of our friends was saying that she just had a job interview that morning and she doesn't have a full-time job. And here we are at her skincare launch event.
It was really beautiful.
Well executed, thoughtful.
Yeah.
And she still can't make rent.
Oh my such God. A beautiful idea, such like clean professional execution. It's like, and that's not enough. You're still worried about paying bill. Like,
now you're still worried. You have to be worried about it. So maybe it's just the time period that we're in our 20s.
Yeah, maybe it's the economy.
Maybe
I don't know.
No, it's definitely the economy. It's definitely the country we're in.
Yeah.
Also,
and the lack of generational wealth that has
exactly
impacted our lives.
Right.
Yeah.
We have many systemic.
just a few. I don't know, just a few. Just a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really incredible to watch, to see, and the turnout again. Like I think if we're taking any lessons from one of the days, like people showed up. People show up when you ask them to.
Exactly.
And they'll show up however they can, whether it be financially, whether it be just like physically helping, making sure there's more bodies in the room if you need them to be. Like people will come. They'll be there.
Sorry, guys. You want to laugh about what my alarm is?
What?
I have a new job.
Every day
at 4:00, I get an alarm. I love my new job.
It's good affirmation.
I've been doing it,
and
we're gonna
get
to.
What job are you talking about?
we're gonna get
my
to,
new job.
Yes,
we love my new job.
This is real practice of manifesting. This is how. This is
100%.
This is a day-to-day experience of how to manifest a new job.
Every day at 4 o'clock, I remind myself, and I get so giddy. I'm like, oh,
is there a reason why? Is there a reason why it's 4 o'clock? I love that for you.
No, I just decided on the time, and every day, I just get that reminder because I have to remain focused on
facts
where we're
headed. I think we should keep this part of the podcast. Actually, I think we should leave it as practice, because I'm not doing that right now. Maybe I should be doing that too.
Well, the one that I had before that I took from someone else was at 333, and it says, "God is my sugar daddy."
God is my sugar daddy is my favorite. I think we should call our episode "God is my sugar daddy."
I didn't feel super comfortable with that one, so I only did it for about 2 days.
Yo,
and then this one felt
better
and more aligned with...
I can't wait for the day that it's true. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Is there a reason why it's 4 o'clock versus like 10
No, I just picked the time.
All right, I like it. I think we should keep it. Happy new job one day.
Happy new job. It's here. It's arrived.
Yeah. No, but like truly, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm not playing around.
Okay. This actually is a great little segue to my next question. How much do you think the things you say to yourself and the small little habits you build for yourself become what your life looks like? Like, what do you think? What is that relationship between the things you say and what is true? How much do you believe in that?
That's my bread and butter. Do I think that you say something to yourself once and it becomes true? No. Do I think it takes years of work? Yes. Do I think it's tied to your self-worth, your self-esteem, the way you look at yourself, the way you see your world? Yes. So to me, you have to actually believe in what you're saying.
Yeah. Almost as much as like the reality you're seeing.
Yeah. And you have to believe that it's possible for you. A lot of people say if it was put in your heart, it was put in your heart because it is a possibility. And that's something that, whether it's spirituality or if you believe in spirit, that spirit is moving you in that direction. In fact, like you didn't just come up with that thought on your own just because. It was actually put inside of you for a reason. And so I think that it takes a lot of work to say something out loud that you want and then to continue to make that a reality in really, really small ways. And it takes years of work, and it's not on your timeline.
Yeah.
That's just
that part.
The sad reality.
The not on your timeline part is the part that's so frustrating, I think.
Yeah.
Or the thing that makes you maybe not believe in it anymore.
Yeah.
Or give up on it because, you know, and honestly, like probably like the day after you decided you're gonna stop would have been the day it worked. You know, like.
Of course.
And you'll never know. So it's a hard thing. Like faith is such a hard thing in that regard because it's not based on proof of concept. And it can't be. It can't be.
It is based off practice and discipline, though. Yeah. Like, I looked at my calendar this month and I sent you the picture. And I was just like, I literally prayed for this moment. For me to actually be able to teach 10 classes a month. Like, this was not a reality last year.
Even a year ago. I had just
started my teacher training. I had just started my teacher training in late January of last year.
Yeah.
And I continued to show up and then all of a sudden I looked at February of 2025 and I was like, oh shit, I'm teaching 10 classes. That's honestly
6 months after you finished.
Yeah. So to me, that is proof of concept. It comes. It's just not when you want it to.
Yeah.
And remember in the summer, I was so afraid. I was so scared when I had just started teaching my one class a week.
Right, with the students.
And I was like, it's terrible, like it's the worst, whatever. And then this morning I was like, shit, I kind of know something. I know things now.
You walked in, you just kind of can do it in your head too. You don't gotta practice so much.
Like I was so afraid of even standing in front of the room and not doing the poses with them. And now I was like doing something else and I was directing them just with my words. And that to me was also a sign that I had grown. So it happens. It's just not when you want it to. And you have to continuously put in the work. That to me is faith plus discipline equals action or results equals reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
And I think you're right. I think it's just hard. I think it's hard when you can't see the path like forward. It doesn't change. I agree with you. I think it's exactly what you're saying. I think that I can understand why for folks when like everything else is falling apart and you're like trying to hold on to this dream of yours that you can't make rent, you like whatever, you're trying to get a job, you still can't do that. Like, you can't make the reality you're currently in work to still hold on to that. I can understand why it would be really, really challenging.
Of course.
But I think regardless of that being the case, like, it's still the only truth that matters, is that you have to believe in what you're talking about, even though your life doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to believe that at some point things will change.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it doesn't feel like that today.
Yeah. That's why people are like chasing their dream, but also like working 3 jobs and like trying to like finish school while also trying to like open whatever. So I think there's something about willing to put in the hours on anything, even if it is that you work a job you don't want while you're trying to make a thing you want to come, whatever that looks like. I think it's trying to figure out where are you willing to compromise for something else.
Exactly.
And I think my favorite question I've been asked recently is like, if money wasn't an object, would your life look different? Do you want it to look different? And I think there's something about we can get really caught up in the ways that like things aren't working out. But if like for me right now, like if I wasn't worried about bills, like I think my life would be exactly the same. Like, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways. And like the things that aren't working out are just like temporary because of just like things that are out of my control. But so I think that's such a good reminder to be like, yes, there's things that make the current situation you're navigating difficult, but like, are you so far off the world that you want or where you want to be that if that's the case, then like you got to make some drastic changes to shift yourself back towards what you're looking for, because you can't just be stuck in the like, I can't make it work, so I can't do it, and that's just where it is. Like, that's not a life either, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we're in this age right now where a lot of our friends are doing exactly what you're describing. They're following their dreams, they're trying to make things work, they're trying to create things in the world, and then they also have to have a job and they have to make rent and they have to take care of other people as well. Let's not forget about that. A lot of us are not just taking care of ourselves. We're
Can't forget about that.
Our grandmothers and our
Right.
mothers and whoever comes our way, right? That needs that level of support.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard to wake up every day and say, this is something that I want to do and it's worthy of my time and it's worthy of my discipline. And that to me is day-to-day work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where you have choice. That's where like money is not a problem. That's where nothing else is actually a factor besides your decision to spend your time a certain way.
Exactly.
Because you could spend the whole day being like, well, I can't make it work because I can't do X, Y. You could definitely spend it that way. It's an option. And maybe for a day, that's a useful time of your useful time spent to kind of just get that out of your body, to say it and feel that way. Cool. But like, if that's where all of your energy is spent, then like nothing will change. That's true. Like, you're not moving toward changing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something to be said about believing in things you can't see because you've heard them in your head or you felt a way about it when you saw it happen somewhere else. There's something worthy of like making that tactile for yourself enough that you can like work towards making that part of what your life looks like. Yeah. It's really cool to see. It's hard. I think it's our age. I think you're right. I think it is something about this, like, we're transitioning out of like, I don't know, like young adultness to like adulthood, I guess. It's what it feels like a little bit, that something about your early 20s that feel like you're just kind of figuring it out. Not that I have anything figured out.
Of course.
At all, but I think like there's something about, I think the like clarity that's come with this age for us is like, there's something about now your job is to balance what you want and what you have to do versus just like
that's so
trying
well
to
said.
get to, I don't know, stability or like whatever you're doing in your early 20s. But now it's like, this is actually just your life now. And like, if you want some things to be true in your life, there's a level of work and time, whatever that requires. And there's more things given all the other things that are happening or whatever systems are at play that are going to make those things being true even more difficult. And like, you have to kind of bite the bullet that that's the case.
Yeah.
And like step into navigating those systems the best you can.
And something that you and I have been talking about, especially in the last few weeks since the inauguration of the Orange Man. He He who will not be named. Because he doesn't deserve.
It's like a literal sitcom. Like
It is a sitcom. It is a sitcom every single day.
Yeah.
And how do we hold on to the fact that things are actually getting much more difficult every single day? And
like,
all of us.
It hasn't even been a full month yet.
It hasn't been a full month yet. And there's too many executive orders. I'm not keeping up. I refuse.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
And we still have to make rent. We still have dreams. We still have family members we need to take care of. There's so much to navigate right now, and it's overstimulating most days.
Yeah.
And then the world's on fire, and this man continues to add to the fire and continues to hire incompetent white men. So holding the reality that there's someone trying to create so much harm in the world, and then there's us, and at least in the reality we're in, and our friend group and the people we know, are trying to create so much healing in the world. Are trying to create things that are actually really beautiful and in alignment with the earth and in alignment with
keeping
their values. Keeping other people alive and creating beautiful experiences for us on this goddamn planet. So it's been really hard to balance the reality that there are people in the world trying to make the world a better place, and there are people in the world that are constantly trying to kill us.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed. I think it's just
gotten
getting
heightened.
It's heightened.
And like I think the trick in the harder part even in there is like they're succeeding. So at least that's what's most visible to me is that,
and that's what it looks like on the national scale.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to clarify, like that's what's visible. The visibility is that like more of these things are true than the other side is true, right? And like the barrier to entry for working towards creating healing and warmer and welcoming spaces has actually gotten more expensive financially, resource, whatever it may be. Like it's just everything has gotten to a higher scale, which only should mean that you like double down on the dream. That's what it should mean, but that involves like a lot of like community. That involves a lot of like finding enough people and yourself to kind of talk through the things that are happening enough to make sure you're not letting go or giving up on this thing because you don't see a way for it yet. Or can't see a way for it now.
I was just telling you that I have a friend that is opening up a shop in New York.
Yay,
and we're so proud of her.
Businesses.
We love her.
Yes.
We love her and we're so proud of her. And I love the fact that she's investing in this property. That is very expensive. That is very difficult.
Yeah.
And she still won't quit her job, obviously. We won't quit our 9-to-5s.
No.
And
Not yet.
She was just saying how joy is so fleeting. She can't even take the time right now to
like enjoy
this that this is happening, because there's so much suffering in the world. And call me delusional, call me whatever the fuck you want. Like at the end of the day, those are the stories that I want to hear. Like I want to hear about people creating more healing in the world.
Yeah. I think that's delusional. I think you're trying to hold on to hope.
And hope is a discipline.
I was about to say.
So
Mariam Kaba always is right.
And when she says it's a discipline, it's something you do over and over and over again.
Yeah, even when you don't want to. Discipline is not about your emotions, right?
Exactly.
It's like even when you feel and think that it's not possible, the discipline is to do it anyway.
Exactly. And we have too many examples in history where shit was shit.
Worse than it is now.
People still made bread. Worse than now. 110% worse than now.
Scarier, more dangerous,
And so we have to remember that other people survive darker times than we are.
Yeah.
And not to negate what we're experiencing.
Yeah, it's still just hard to be a person.
Put it in context.
Like, wow.
And we don't even have children. We don't even have children. I will say, this is definitely my soapbox. Children make the world worth living.
I love that. Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, yeah, because for them, they're just like, all they see is dreams.
Oh my goodness. My nephew, obsessed, obviously, he was sleeping on me a few days ago for like an hour and a half. And I was just like, I lost my job. But it's okay. Like, I'm going to be okay. Yeah. I'm going to be okay. And there's this little person who like is going to have a better experience later in life.
Because of the dreams that you are holding on to.
Exactly. And I have to.
Yeah.
And that's not even my child.
It's not even your child. So imagine if it was your child.
No, I know. We're not imagining if it was my child.
But I'm saying, like, for people who are having the same conflict we are having, who are also watching their young people, right? Just like be like, they can't.
Mm-hmm.
At least, that's what I would imagine it feels like. It's like you have to, because what are you gonna tell your kid? I don't want to tell my kid that the world's ending. Like, I can't. Even if that's what it feels like, I can't say that out loud. I don't know.
And I don't want to tell myself that the world is ending.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either.
We have a responsibility to ourselves as well, just as much as to other people.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think part of the work maybe I need to do is like uplift those stories more. It's just hard to find them. Like, I don't, it's hard to see them because everyone is everyone wants to vent and share. So I think more of what at least I'm hearing is like people trying to process the other side.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to focus on things that are going well, or maybe people feel bad that there's like things that are positive happening and they don't know how to talk about them because the world is like on fire in every way, or maybe it feels like it's hard to say, like, actually, like, this positive thing happened. Mm-hmm. This thing that didn't suck happened today, So it's hard to find them, but I think that's worth the effort, at least right now.
That's what I'm in search of.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm delusional.
You might have to be.
It's a worthwhile effort.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah. I think yesterday was a really good example of that to me.
100%.
On both counts, like seeing our friend like speak about things that she really values and cares about and like explain her perspective in the way that she did, and also getting a chance to see somebody else like make a dream of theirs come true in the midst of what's going on. I think it was really important for us to be there. Yeah. I'm glad we went. I hope that they felt supported.
Mm-hmm. And I don't take it for granted that we were meant to be in the room.
Yeah.
And we had to see that, in fact, for ourselves, for our own dreams, for our own art, and for our belief in ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
and leaning in.
We needed to be there.
Yeah. And I think it's extra cool because like we've seen those people prior to that day, like, of course. Like long enough to know that like we've had this conversation with them, in those ways. So to watch their process, get them to a point where they're able to like speak on things in a different platform or different space, just shows how true it is to trust your work, to trust your dream, trust your practice, trust your art.
Yeah.
Whatever that might look like.
And they're still figuring it out.
Yeah, they're also that part's important. No, but that part I think is like, I think honestly that's in the myth of adulthood that I think that we've all finally learned is like, I remember when I first became like 20 whatever, and I was like, oh, every adult I've met is lying to my face. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And like for a while that used to piss me off when I was younger because I was like, they made me feel like I didn't know anything and they didn't either. But there's something I think really really beautiful about knowing that like there's not going to be a point where you just everyone's learning. It's their first time being however old they are, whoever is that, so I think there's something really beautiful about there is nothing to get to that's going to feel like familiar because you're always like kind of getting older and learning whatever it is. So like, I think now finally, I don't know if I've internalized it yet, but at least realize that like, I know what I know because I've tried things out and anybody else in the world is in the same position I'm in. So there's nothing, they're not like different or better or worse than I am because like we're just all trying to some extent. Trying, some of us at least.
Some of us definitely. Yeah. _ some of us. I will say last year was so hard for so many different reasons, and at some point this week I just realized that I am living in alignment and that I am authentic to myself and to my values. And I couldn't see it last year. Last year was too foggy.
That you were living in alignment even last year.
I was just saying, like, I'm doing shit and like, I don't know, I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
And now there's more meaning or things are clearer now.
Do you feel like last year was clearer now, or you feel like you're in alignment now?
I feel like I'm in alignment now.
Okay.
And I think that life is clearer now. And that's literally all I wanted last year. Like, if I could describe last year, it was foggy.
Yeah.
Fucking foggy.
Yeah. I think in our episode, you said last year was character building. Was a character building year. Yeah. I think that's true. I think when you're building something, it's hard to, you don't know what you're always building. You don't have a plan necessarily, but you are putting like pieces together for something else. I love.
Yeah.
Do I feel like I've been living in alignment? I think I would say I am as well. Only because like, although the day-to-day of things are hard and challenging, like there's nothing that I'm doing in my life that I don't want to be doing. There's nothing. And like, yes, things are not always easy and things involve a lot of like work on the back end, but there's nothing that I'm like struggling to like commit to because I have to. That's not true. And I think that was not the case last year.
Yeah. And this may be funny, but I don't lie as much anymore.
To yourself or in general?
Both.
Nice. I love that. What do you think changed? What do you think the lies were? Like, what do you think they were trying to protect?
I mean, we've talked about this, just trying to pretend to be a person that you are, trying to know more than you do just so that you're accepted in certain spaces. And I've just gotten to a point where, like, I am who I am. I know what I know, and there's a lot that I don't know, and this is it. I just don't feel the need to prove myself anymore.
Yes, good.
And obviously you still go into spaces and you're like, I don't have this, or this person's different than me in this way, and they're doing something that I want. And, you know, that I think that's normal that's just kind of life, to feel. Yeah. But I don't think that there's any relationship in my life where I'm lying to someone or trying to pretend to be someone
trying to like
I'm
maintain
not.
Some sort of, yeah,
trying to maintain a character that is not real. And that's worth mentioning.
I love that. I think my version of that is, I feel like for a long time, I think that I've always been like extra relational, right? Like in every phase I'm in, for good or for bad. And I think for a while it was always a thing I thought I needed to outgrow because I was like naive or like I was young or whatever it was. But I think I'm finally tired of trying to explain it away to people. I'm like, this is just who I am. Yeah. Like, it's actually just who I am.
Just believe me.
Just trust that this is like serious. So I think I finally kind of accepted that. I know stuff from a naive place, and I think people perceive me that way. They're like, oh, you just don't like understand that you need to like keep your guard up to like maintain this dynamic. And I'm just like, it's just not who I am. Like, even if that may be true or helpful, like it isn't who I am. And I think I really thought I was gonna like outgrow it or learn to be like more, I don't know what the word is, but like, I don't know, more guarded and like a little more like professional or whatever the terminology is. But I'm so consistent in who I am everywhere I go that like just like, taking me as I am or leaving me alone. Yeah. So it's been a helpful thing to affirm for myself because I think I really tried to outgrow it, and like it's not changing. Like I've been getting older, and like if nothing else has stuck, this has stuck with me. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not guarded. That's not who I am. Like I don't think that there's I don't overshare whatever those things are, but like I start with like I'm extra kind to people I don't know.
You really are. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to say more?
No. I just watch you do it and I'm just like utterly confused.
Why are you confused?
I don't know. Because I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite. So yeah. I just notice how different we are.
But I think it's for the same reason. That's the thing that like that's why.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Right. We're getting to the same
actually,
end.
Right. I think the purpose of it is actually quite the same.
Yeah.
But I think that like when I was doing a lot of interviews for jobs last year, like that was feedback that I got that like really it was an annoying point of feedback that I was like, this is just your personal preference. It is not constructive feedback for you to give me that like you felt like one of the points where they were like, oh, you were really easy to get to know. It felt really informal. Yeah. And for me, I was like, so you want me to be cold? Like, what are you asking of me? Like, what do you want to happen? So that they were like, that's not a feedback that you should change the way you are, but I just want to make sure you understand that that's how it came off. I'm like, fuck that you. Is who I am. It's also just who I am. Like,
I'll be ready to say fuck you pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know, but for me, I'm like, I don't even understand what your intention in telling me that is. Like, you're upset that you felt like you could tell me something? I don't understand. Like, so I think I'm finally tired of it because like
people are navigating their own projections on how they think you should behave in certain spaces.
I shouldn't be as nice to you because I just met you. It's like I can be nice to you. It does not take anything from me to be nice. Like so I think I'm finally tired of it because I'm just like, if you think that this is some sort of like issue, then it has to be yours. Because all I've done was I was warm. And if that made you feel away, like, please figure out why.
So can I tell you something that
Yes.
I'm thinking about? So, you know how in the last few years, going back to the state of the world and how fucked up it is, everyone's like, you need to organize and you need to do this and you need to know your role and you have to contribute in some way. I feel like my tone of voice is the song Boom by Doechii. Anyway, that's a very sidebar. I believe, even when I'm hearing you talk, that our service to the world is being ourselves. And that can be enough.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm hesitant to say that out loud is because I know people may disagree with me
opinions, yes.
and have strong opinions about that. That does not mean that you don't organize or that you don't donate or that you don't support communities in need or support your own fucking communities.
Yeah.
And your service to the world is yourself and how you show up, because you showing up the way that you are is actually changing the entire dynamic of a room.
Yeah.
And it is also helping people realize that they can be themselves. You can be informal and professional.
Yeah.
You can be kind.
Like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like,
so
I agree. I think I've had a bit of an identity crisis around that over the past years.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have.
Yeah, I think we talked about it maybe a few years ago, but like in college, my activism looked very different, right? Like, and I think if I'm being really transparent, like I had the privilege for it to look different. Like I was, you know, like I wasn't responsible for other people in the same way that I feel like I am, you know, the older I've gotten. And I think, and you're right. Like I think what's changed for me and what I've had to accept is like both of us create community.
Yes.
Hold space for community. And I think that it's, for me, I've dismissed that as like a value because it's not tactile.
Of course.
Or it's not like,
it's not a campaign.
I'm not hosting a
changing
protest
law.
and I'm not holding a poster, right? But like, so I've kind of dismissed the value of what it means to hold a safe space. And that's what I think I miss the most about being in a classroom is like, it was easy to see the value of creating a space when it was for kids.
Yeah.
And it was a structured environment where like they needed a space and I had a classroom, right? Whereas I think the difference now is that we're older, we're not in those spaces anymore. It's harder to kind of figure out how do you hold space. So I think you're right. Like I think I've gotten to almost the same conclusion that you're getting, that is like, I know that people, I watch people go from being guarded to unguarded in front of me. I watched it happen. I see it every time I talk to anyone new, right? Like,
and that's healing.
I agree. And I think, and it's a good reminder to your point that like, maybe they don't realize they're being guarded, but they're not being met with it. So they like have to kind of quickly decide if they're going to like continue behaving that way or like become like normal.
Like
again, just
changing their entire like way of existing.
Because it's not. And I think that like we live in a world that kind of requires hostility a little bit. Like it requires you to kind of really protect the things that are important to you. And I think for me, this is maybe a first draft thought, but like, I think protecting the things that I care about involve me being kind. Like, I think I actually protect them much better because I'm not being, like, for me, like, personally, right? Like, it's easier for me to protect the things that I love because I'm making sure people who are walking into a space of mine are also unguarded. So it means that they're going to meet people that they meet through me unguarded, right? So it almost guarantees that the people are not meeting guarded people through me, if that makes sense. Because I'm kind of almost like the in-between.
And let's remember, organizing is about building relationships.
Right.
Building sustainable relationships.
And not about optics. I think that was the thing I had to let go of around COVID and like all the things that were happening then, because I was like, I'm too tired to go outside. I can't. And it doesn't feel, I can't protect anybody in the situation. Like, I don't feel safe doing it myself, right? Yeah. So I think I really had to like reframe, and it felt really hard because I felt like, oh, it's not visible. Like, people can't see me, whatever, right? So I had to like kind of do my own work and be like, okay, like, does it matter that people can see me if I know what I'm doing? And how much I have to prove what I'm doing for it to be like real or true, right? So I think that's the takeaway. Like, my Instagram has nothing on it. Like, there's no like, which is, for a while I was like, oh my God, like, people are gonna think I don't care about this like issue because like they're not seeing me post about it on the internet. I'm just like, but I'm living my life, and like, I don't know, like, so that I think is maybe the perk of adulthood, is like I care so much less about what people think of me or what they think I'm doing or not doing. Or I think if you're worried about what I'm doing on Instagram or the optics of my activism, then your rent probably is not high enough.
It definitely isn't.
Yeah.
Also, if you know us
In real life.
In real
Like,
life?
3D me. If you know 3D me.
Oh, okay. If you know 3D me, you should already know what the answer is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I had to let go of the, like, people are looking out for what I'm doing. Like, just getting that out of my head. Just even the, like, because right now, like, there's nobody who I'm like, ooh, what are they doing? Like, why are they, like, I don't ask that question. So, like, I was like, why am I assuming people are asking that question if I don't assume that's even a question I would ask of anyone, you know? So that was my work. But yeah, so that was helpful. And I agree with you. I think for particularly you and me, like
we're consistent.
Yeah, I would say
we're consistent on any issue. Consistent.
Facts. It hasn't changed. Do you work
for a long time?
Facts.
Consistent.
Long before I knew I was being consistent, I was being consistent. Now at least I can stand on it, but before I was still doing it. Yeah. I think it's always been create community where we can, and support people be who they are the best way they can,
and create more healing.
That's it
in the world.
Yeah, like I'll show up anywhere I'm asked to show up.
Yeah. Don't get me started. I actually was thinking about that this morning. So remember how we've been talking about love languages for a long time.
Yes. Whatever. Working on them.
Showing up is the highest form of love to me. I show up. You ask me to be somewhere, I'm there. And if I can't be there, I'll let you know why. If you don't show up,
Noted.
Best believe,
yeah.
I don't deal with flaky people. I'm too old.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't show up for me, this isn't a friendship anymore.
And it's also not, showing up doesn't mean physically going somewhere.
No.
It could, but like that's not necessarily what that phrase means.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we had Adeline Day. Adeline half day. Adeline half a day.
Yeah, Adeline, 3D Adeline had a hard week. And then things turned.
Yeah. But even, I'm saying like, even like, I don't think it has to be like a big plan, but just even like trying to figure out how to show up, even if it's not asked of you based on like, you know, the context you have of people in your life. I think that's, are you tuned in or not is really the question.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, like, can you pick it up? Can you pick up on the cues?
Yeah.
On the like energies of the people who you say you care about?
So.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any friends who don't show up for me.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if I consider them my friends if they don't show up for
Exactly.
me. But I also don't ask.
That to me is the bar for friendship at this point.
Yeah, and I think if you let people, they will.
Exactly.
And for a while, the people who weren't showing up was not because they weren't, it was because I was not letting them. So.
Exactly. We know you learned that lesson.
Have I learned it? I don't know if I've learned it. I know it's true.
You learned it.
I have?
Yes.
Thank you.
We will affirm.
Thanks.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm glad. Wow.
Yeah.
I love how we started talking about a movie and it led to all of the like, just to kind of make a point that all of it is connected. Every single thing. The arts, the capitalism, the like struggle of being a person, just the need to like dig deeper into community, dig your heels into where you are loved and supported. Yeah. And that you need community in yourself. Like you have to be grounded. Because if you don't believe what you're talking about, no one's going to believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you don't believe yourself, continue to practice.
Yeah. Like your friend yesterday who we asked her like, oh, like what is your role here? She's like, creative director. But then she quickly was like, I wasn't even sure that was the case. But
know.
But in my head, I was like, if you hadn't said anything else after that, I would have been like, cool. Like I would have walked away. I was like, people actually have a lower threshold to believe you than you think. Like I'm not looking for your resume. Like I was.
And it was so quick for her to negate that title.
And I don't know if she would have done it if she wasn't somebody that you knew personally. I hope she wouldn't have done it if she wasn't somebody that you knew personally. Maybe she felt comfortable sharing that part. But I hope that she, in any other space that someone asks her that question, she says the answer and like leaves it at that. It's really hard to, because even I'm like, did I just lie to that person? Like, who knows? We are low key our own worst enemies sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah. All the time.
All the time.
But you also can be your biggest ally, because you gotta kind of bring a dream to reality too. So you gotta work with yourself.
But you need other people to be able to see you for who you are and to actually listen to what you're saying that you want for yourself and to give you new titles.
Yeah,
that you
probably would never give yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I think it was at the first event I went to yesterday. When our friend was like, "Everyone's an artist."
I know.
I was looking at you. I was like, "You gonna claim that title?"
I know, because just last week I was like, someone called me creative and I don't think I'm creative. And then you just looked at me like I had 3 heads.
Did you
And I was
notice
like, I
how
understand.
in the little blurb I wrote for you, I wrote that you are a creative? Did you notice? I don't know if you noticed. When I was
recently,
asked,
a few days ago? Yeah,
Yep.
I did see that.
Okay,
that was
great,
a little...
great. I just wanted to make sure you noticed, because not only is it true, it was true enough that I felt like I could stamp my name on it and tell somebody else. So I don't even know me. That's how true it is.
Okay.
If you needed to
see
it somewhere else.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that when Insecure started, she was 29.
Okay, so we're a little early. We're early.
Yes,
Okay, we're early.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm very proud of us because
Okay.
I feel like we've done more work than she did the first season.
Facts.
And so
we're gonna start the same
we have
kind of
a lot to look forward to.
That's facts. Yeah. No, I'm telling you, I watch that show at least twice a year, like from the beginning to end, and then I
just a check-in. Like
I figure out what part of Issa's life is mine, or I figure out who in the show is like me, and I'm like, what lesson can I take away? So, shout out to Issa for also being an original therapist with Insecure.
Oof.
Because it helped. I didn't need someone to talk to me. I just needed to like observe someone navigate things. That was more beneficial, you know. Yeah, that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. How do we wrap this up?
What are your takeaways from
my
today?
takeaways? Let's see. My takeaways are...
We went on a little roller coaster. We went on a field trip?
We went on a field trip! Yes! Field trip.
Can you explain why?
Yes. So I started a shared album for us called The Messy Part Goes on a Field Trip, because I am invested in our New Year's resolution becoming real and tactile. And it's been just a hilarious experience to make sure to remember to take pictures when we go places, because we're on a field trip. When you're on a field trip, you take pictures. You notice the surroundings. You want to capture all the experiences and memories. And it is just a good way to like step out of our comfort zone to try new things. And it's going to be so great, like in a year, to see that album grow. Aww. To see all the ways. Because we also have to add like all the things from last year into it that we have. Because I think you and I do a lot more of the things we say we'll do than we think we do.
100%.
But I don't know if we're not cataloging them as well as we can be. So I'm really into organizing in that way. I think it's a good reminder that our life has balance, that things are as hard as they are beautiful. Yeah, so that's that. That's part of my takeaway. But I think we talked about, our field trip was pretty extensive. A little road trip, went to a lot of places. That was hard. So my takeaways are, I hate paying rent. And one day we will stop paying rent. And also that duality, I think, is my biggest one. Like, as many things as there are evidence for what's hard and what's impossible and what feels like it's on fire, there is probably as much on the other side. And if you don't see it, then it's your job to create, find, uplift, explore. Because what else is life? What else is it besides making sure that you are having a good time and the people you love are safe and thriving to the best of their ability? Yeah, I think that's my takeaway. Duality. What's yours?
I don't know if I have more to add.
That's okay. You don't have to. That could be our collective messy part takeaway.
Yeah.
What do you hope our listeners take away?
Find more stories of people doing the best that they can for the communities that they're a part of. And archive those stories. Take note of them. Notice it. And do that for yourself as well. Yeah. Like, ask yourself, how are you actually contributing to your community?
Are you?
Are you? Even the question we asked earlier, is your life in alignment? Like, are you showing up how you want to show up in the world?
Yeah. And
if you're not, why? And what's stopping you? And what are the blockages that are in your way? And I think that...
And are you one of them?
And you probably are.
Should probably move out the way.
And maybe you won't. But hopefully you have someone...
That's a lesson in there too.
But hopefully you have someone in your life who will help you move out of your own way. That is my wish for everyone.
Yeah.
Outside of everyone in the world. That has at least one person that they can count on, that can see them for who they are. Yeah.
I agree with all of it. I think what I want to add is it is important to stay informed to some extent.
Absolutely.
If being informed is causing you to be stagnant and to not move and to lose visibility of what's true about your life, then be less informed, just for a little bit. And I hope that people take away that everything is possible, good and bad. So if you see bad things that are true, what good things can you find to also make true? Find yourself some balance.
Find yourself some balance. Absolutely.
And love on your people, hug people in real life. The world's on fire.
What do you always say?
I do what I can for the people. I do what I can for the people. I do what I can for the people. Saying this? Since high school, because it's it. It's all I can do. I do what I can for the people.
I do what I can for the people. Yeah. Do what you can for the people.
I don't really say you're welcome. Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah.
I do what I can for the people. That's it. And the people could be just yourself. That should be
like our collective mantra.
I do what I can
in the world.
People. What can you do, and who? So maybe the questions you can ask is like, what's in your power? What can you do? Who are people? Who do you consider people? Hopefully, it's everyone. If it's not everyone, maybe we should redefine people.
I might challenge you on that. You need to define who your people are, and it doesn't have to be everybody.
But I don't think it should exclude. I don't think it should exclude a certain kind of person.
Yes,
like there's a way to do it in a way that's not. I don't know. You should be selective. Yes, I agree about who you're. But to define someone as not a person, I think is where I'm like, don't do that.
I guess the other way that I would frame that is, who are you accountable to?
Yeah, I like that better.
And you can't just be accountable to your family.
No.
And if you have kids, to your children, like you have to be accountable to more people.
Than the people that you like directly are blood related to.
Exactly. Yeah. Because then we're going back to individualism.
We don't like that. We like community here.
We love community here.
So do what you can for the people.
Do what you can for the people. Say it one more time.
Do what you can for the people. Do what you can for the people. Do what you can for the people.
Do what you can for the people. Our mantra for 2025.
That's it.